Hi guys, I'm Kat and this is Catadactyl. So today I'm filming a video that I didn't think I would be filming this month because I was planning to read only Japanese books which I already had on my shelves so that I could clear out the Japanese section of my bookshelves. However, it's also Pride Month, which, yay! Happy Pride, everyone! And that means that I was seeing everyone haul books and talk about books that are just related to queerness in general. And I'm going to say queer for this video, and I mean inclusively LGBTQIA++ question. Everyone is included, just for the ease of saying it, I'm going to say queer. And I was so jealous that I wasn't also reading queer works this month. So I was thinking, okay, well I'm going to combine the Japanese part of my monthly TBR with the queer element of Pride Month. So I did some research and I found some books that I'm really excited to read, and the whole reason why I decided to do it this month was because I happened to see a book featuring queer samurai in the bookstore and I just had to pick it up. And I'm talking about Comrade Loves of the Samurai by Ihara Saikaku. And as far as I know, this is not Own Voices. So in this book, Saikaku is talking about homosexual love between samurai and samurai, or also samurai and kind of samurai in training, the liege boys that would be attendants to the samurai or to liege lords. And in the past in Japan, much of a similar way to ancient Greece, the forming of a bond between young boys and older men was seen as very good for intellectual growth, and it wasn't seen as anything perverted. It is only later on in Japan's history, with the introduction of Christianity, that it was really frowned upon and made to be perverted by society. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and this book is what sparked this whole TBR. But like I said, I wasn't planning to read queer Japanese literature for this month because I don't have any on my shelves. So other than this book, everything else is Kindle or from other various sources, which I will let you know at that time. So let's go ahead and get on into it. I'm so excited. So the next author I want to talk about is Yoshino Baku, and she was the forerunner of feminist and lesbian literature in Japan. She wrote in the late 1800s to early 1900s, and the really interesting thing to me is that her writings spurred what we now know as shoujo or yuri manga. So it's kind of girls' love, or it's called the girls' flower love, which is lesbian in tone or female-female. Sometimes the tone is directed toward a male audience, and more on that in a separate video. Her works are very popular amongst young girls in Japan because not only does she write about lesbian romantic love, but also platonic friendships that are very sweet and enduring. But one short story from her collection was only published in 2016, which is Yellow Rose. Yellow Rose focuses on female-female relationships and romantic love, and if you are interested in Japanese feminist literature or Japanese queer literature or Japanese lesbian literature, I highly recommend it. I haven't read it, but I'm really excited to, especially knowing the background of Nobuko's life. Next up is Gengoroh Tagame's My Brother's Husband, which is a very sweet manga, and this is also Own Voices. Tagame is an outspoken pride and gay rights activist, and also for the BDSM scene in Japan. So in this work we follow a man who lives with his younger daughter in Japan, and they are suddenly visited by his kind of estranged brother's husband, who comes to Japan to learn more about his dear husband who has passed away, who is the Japanese man's brother. So this is really a focus on family life and the different ways Japanese society really views gay people and queerness in general, and actually foreigners. So I have actually read My Brother's Husband already, and I loved it. I thought it was cute and sweet, and it had a lot of really good things to say, and it totally made me cry. So I do highly recommend it, and it is on my TBR because it's for this month. Up next is another manga from Japan that I've really wanted to read. It is Own Voices by Nagata Kabi, and it is called My Lesbian Experiences with Loneliness. It's autobiographical, so it's her experience from when she was about 10 to now, and she is dealing with viewing her body and also coming to terms with her mental and physical health. There are triggers for trichotillomania and also self-harm and also bulimia and anorexia and binging. The main character is really struggling, and at first she thinks she might be asexual or aromantic, and then she wonders if she might be a lesbian, and it's about her experience over that decade and coming to terms with who she is. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I really can't wait to get to it. Alrighty, and next up we have a book that I wouldn't normally read, but I was honestly struggling to find other lesbian fiction. I am going to actually read a Haruki Murakami novel this month, and it's Sputnik Sweetheart, and it features a love triangle, which that's like strike two because I really don't like love triangles, but we follow Sumire, who is a very successful woman, and she is falling for Miyu, who is a kind of avant-garde writer, and as she is thinking about her love for this other older woman, she's talking to her best friend Kei, who is a man who might be in love with her. And I've heard that this is another one of Murakami's men looking at women type books, which is not my favorite, truth be told, but I feel like if I don't read it, I won't be able to get into the discussions and understand more about lesbian fiction in Japan. So for that, I do want to read it, and I hope that it's not too bad. Yeah, so I'm ambivalent. I'm not sure. So if you've read it, please let me know what you think. I hope it's good. Murakami isn't my favorite, so I'm reading it purely because the topic interests me, although the love triangle doesn't, if that makes sense. So we shall see how it goes, I think. I hope it goes well. So next up is Japanese Magnolia by Rei Kimura. So actually I learned about this book because Butterfly in the Wind by Rei Kimura is on my to-read list for this month. And when I was looking up information about the author, I saw that she had also written Japanese Magnolia. So in Japanese Magnolia, we're following a Japanese samurai of impeccable lineage who falls in love with the son of a peasant farmer, and it is about their forbidden romance. I just really wanted to read that book so bad that actually it's not published anywhere on Amazon. You have to go to Smashwords. So I made an account on Smashwords and I bought it, and I got it on my Kindle, and I know what I'm going to be reading tonight. Like, I cannot wait to read this book. Yeah, this month I've committed to reading 2 of Rei Kimura's works, and I haven't read her yet, so I'm feeling like a little ballsy. Like, an unread author, and I bought 2 of her books, so I hope it's really, really good, and that I can report back to you guys and be like, buy it, get it, oh my god. Next up is a sci-fi read called The Cage of Zeus by Sayuri Ueda. So actually the summary is very complicated, so I am just going to go ahead and read you guys the blurb. So it says, "The Rounds are humans with the sex organs of both genders. Artificially created to test the limits of the human body in space, they are now a minority, despised and hunted by the terrorist group Vessel of Life. Aboard Zeus 1, a space station orbiting Jupiter, the Rounds have created their own society with a radically different view of gender and of life itself. Security Chief Shirasaki keeps the space and peace between the Rounds, and typically gendered mono. But when a terrorist strike hits the station, the balance of power and tolerance is at risk, and an entire people is targeted for genocide." So I do not normally like to read about books where queer characters are killed off. I'm so over that. But in this one, I read through some reviews, and it seems like people are equating it to The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, where the gender fluid and transitioning genders is really the key component of the novel, and the transgender and kind of sexual pairings that happen in the novel I think are really interesting, and specifically by a Japanese author. There isn't that much queer rep in Japanese literature, fiction, manga, anime in general, other than the ones that are for sexual titillation. So I do really want to read this book, even though I've heard mixed things about it. So if you've read it, or you like sci-fi and think you might read it, and anyone wants to buddy read with me, let me know, because I don't know how it's gonna go, but I cannot wait to read it. And last up on this list is another manga, and it's Bloom Into You by Nakatani Mio. And this came up really high on most lesbian manga lists. It is not kind of written for male titillation or for the male gaze, so that got me really, really intrigued. And we follow Yu, who is in high school, and she was just confessed to by a boy, and she was waiting for the moment when she would feel like butterflies and she would be really excited to kind of go out with this boy, but nothing happened. And she realized that she believes herself to be asexual or aromantic, and she meets another person in this school who she sees reject a boy when he confesses to her, and she talks about her experience and how afraid she is to reject the boy that's confessed to her. And she says, like, do you have advice for me, like, from another person who is kind of asexual or aromantic? And then the other character thinks she might be developing feelings for you. So one character is asexual, aromantic, possibly, and the other one is possibly lesbian, is what I believe to be the case just from reading the blurb. So I'm really excited about it, and the drawing style is beautiful. I really love the drawing style, and I think it's going to be really sweet and really great, and I cannot wait to read it. So if you have liked any of these, please do let me know. I'm so excited about them. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot. And I hope that you guys are having a great Pride Month, and I wish that I could do something to celebrate, but there isn't really anything happening here. So I'll just celebrate with you guys, and I'll celebrate reading these books, and it will be great. So to everyone out there who is celebrating Pride Month, yeah, I hope you're having a lovely time and that you're safe and loved and reading great queer literature. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'm just gonna say bye for now. Toodles!